Hi, what's up, y'all? It's popping about to react to this Matty Balls vid. It's titled Hip Hop Has an Industry Plant Problem. Okay, he addresses several people that he feel like are plants. So let's hear what he got to say. Let's watch.
Usually when an artist blows up out of nowhere and goes viral, they are labeled as an industry plant. And lately, a lot of artists in the hip-hop space have been blowing up out of nowhere, which has left a lot of people feeling like there are industry plants popping up every other day. So today, I wanted to look into these artists and their come-ups and get to the bottom of this industry plant epidemic. Starting off with Tommy Richmond. Tommy Richmond is the most recent hip-hop
Last time I saw him, he would whatever.
Artist
he grew his beard up.
Get hit with industry plant accusations.
I never heard about this man.
It's kind of understandable. After his song $1 Million Baby went super viral, he became the first artist since Oliver Anthony to debut at #2 on the Billboard Hot 100 with no previous chart history. On top of that, the song has over 600 million streams on Spotify. If you think you haven't heard the song, you definitely have. It's been all over TikTok, and I know I'm not the only one of us who's up late scrolling on TikTok when you should be sleeping. To many people, he came out of nowhere and became one of many artists on this list who was immediately hit with the industry plant accusations. So let's look into it. Tommy Richmond is an artist who, after one quick look into his Spotify history, you can see he's actually been dropping music for a very long time, ever since 2016. For a long time, his music was nothing special, but over the years, he definitely started finding a sound with better production, better vocals, better mixing, and he got pretty nice at singing, I can't lie. He had some buzz in the underground and worked with some other fairly well-known artists in the underground space, like Big Baby Gucci and Perry Mason. He started getting a bit more experimental, making indie type of songs mixed with some rock type of songs mixed with his rap songs. So Tommy definitely had some buzz in the underground scene. He even got a song with Merlin Wood in January of 2023, who, if you didn't know, was in Brockhampton. And then Tommy got an opportunity. In 2023, Pulse Records partnered up with Brent Faiyaz's agency ISO Supremacy, and they signed Tommy Richmond as their first artist. I do want to
this makes sense.
Mention that unlike every other label on this list, Pulse is actually an indie label. They define themselves as a premier independent
I just know someone who's connected to Brent Faiyaz, and they were posting him like crazy, and now that makes sense.
Music publisher and record label. But this doesn't mean that they're just some random record label, as they have artists like Brent Faiyaz, Ty Dolla $ign, Kay Trinata, Kehlani, Freddie Gibbs, Gene Dawson, who's one of my favorite artists of all time, by the way. You guys needed to know that, didn't you? And many more. So this is definitely a very established label, despite them being independent. This means that in 2023, Tommy Richmond finally had some marketing dollars behind him. My guy Lueso made a video on him and mentioned that he was reached out to by Tommy's team in 2023 for promotion.
Another fun little fact I want to share is that in September of last year, Tommy Richmond's team actually reached out to me to do a promo for him on my TikTok. Who is this artist that is opening for Brent Faiyaz on tour? His name is Tommy Richmond. At one point in my video, I showed how Tommy had about 300,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, and now he currently boasts over 40 million at the time of this recording. So what's the real story behind Tommy Richmond's success?
So it's clear that the signing definitely had an impact on how his music was marketed. After signing to ISO and Pulse, Tommy was put on as the opener for Brent Faiyaz's tour F the World, It's a Wasteland. He also got a feature on Brent's album Larger Than Life on the song Upset. I definitely wouldn't say that his sound changed a lot after signing, but it definitely got more refined as he had access to better production, better engineering, better mixing, mastering, the whole 9 yards. One of the founders of Pulse, Josh Abraham, said this in an interview. Bel Misbahi, an A&R for Pulse, was interested in Tommy and brought him to our attention within the first month of launching Pulse Records. There was always a scene gathering around Tommy, so they scouted him out at a show. They said they saw Brent there, realized they both wanted to sign him, so they partnered up. They said once $1 Million Baby was made, they knew that the song was the one. The VP of marketing at Pulse, Sarah Ahmed, said, "I built him a rollout plan to build into the hype of the song. We didn't have much lead time to create a campaign, but obviously it worked. Like I said, his song $1 Million Baby went insanely viral, and he had so many accolades. His song $1 Million Baby went insanely viral, and he had so many accolades from that song. It's clear that his deal with ISO and Pulse was pivotal in his career. On Music Business Worldwide, they said that when he signed, he had about 300,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, which is very impressive as an independent artist. And when they wrote the article after $1 Million Baby, he had 46 million. After the crazy success of that song, he followed up with the track Devil Is a Lie, which also did very well and hit 32 on the Billboard Hot 100. Of course, though, like I said, his blow up is very recent, and we haven't been able to see much more unfold. So this is why some people think Tommy is a plant, because he does have a really good team behind him after signing to Pulse and ISO. But as we'll see throughout this entire video, his rise to success is not as special as you may think it is. Tyla is one of the most recent artists to blow up who has quickly been labeled an industry plant. After releasing just one song, she signed to a label, and a few months later she won a Grammy and had one of the biggest songs in the world with the song Water. That song went 2 times platinum and has nearly 800 million streams on Spotify. On a video about her, someone commented, "I'm South African and can confirm that Tyla came out of nowhere. We were all surprised when she won a Grammy from a single that is average at best. We questioned her sudden rise to fame." The accusations got so big that she even addressed them in an interview.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about you?
That I literally came out of nowhere and I'm an industry plant. It's like, what the heck? I'm a whole plant. Imagine. People don't know how hard I've worked and how hard my team has worked to get here. But I mean, everyone's gonna get that comes up from a social media viral moment. So it's understandable, but one day we'll tell the story for real.
Well, too bad, Tyla, because I'm telling the story. Also, before you commented, I know Tyla's not a rapper. That's obvious, you didn't have to tell me. But she's definitely involved in the hip-hop space. She's a hip-hop adjacent artist, as she's worked with artists like Travis and Gunna. She went on Kai's stream like many rappers do, and she's well known in the scene. Anyways, Tyla started out as any other artist, making music and posting it all over her social media. The first video on her YouTube channel is from 11 years ago when she was a kid, and she had already started posting herself singing. She was a great singer and had been singing for nearly a decade. And as you can tell by the description, she was doing whatever she could to get noticed. And eventually, after posting enough snippets, she did. As she was eventually noticed by a guy who has a supervillain name, which is Garth Von Glenn, who became her first manager. She was also working with his label Fax Records, and it was under them that she released her first single, Getting Late. She said that she started going to Garth's apartment studio and working on her music. Due to some complications because of COVID, her career was on hiatus and it took a while for the video to be created. However, in 2021, it was finally released. And if you look at the video, it's obvious that it was very well produced and there was some money behind it. She had a team behind her who was helping her launch her career, and it worked out perfectly as she got an offer from Epic Records after they caught wind of the video.
So like initially I had like labels weren't on my mind. Like it wasn't something that I thought was realistic, so I never thought I could work towards it. So I was literally just making music, and when I dropped the video for Getting Late, all the labels literally reached out. There was a whole bidding war, like it was crazy, and yeah, Epic was the one I went with.
Who was on your team when you were making that music for it to happen like that? Who was your producer, the videographer? Who did you work with?
I didn't have a whole, hey, producer, videographer, like no. It was like me, my best friend, my manager. He also shot the video. He's a videographer as well.
Oh, man.
They signed her in a joint venture with Fax Records, which was her manager's label. She also got hooked up with a co-manager in 2022, who my friend 1111 discovered in his investigation.
Now, it is also important to note that in addition to Epic Records and Garth Von Glenn's Fax Records, Tyla has also been co-managed by this guy, Colin Gale, since late 2020. As a seasoned...
Why he sound like he reporting on a murder mystery? His tone is just very sinister.
Manager from Jamaica and founder of the Africa Creative Agency, when you work with Colin, though, you really get yourself a package deal. Seeing as his wife, Yvette, is also a powerhouse in the music industry who has worked with hip-hop legends such as 50 Cent, Eminem, Nas, and Mary J. Blige, to name a few. Colin says his wife's expertise in PR and marketing complements his focus on strategy and studio work, and together the couple's deep connection to Africa inspired them to start the Africa Creative Agency, dedicated to amplifying the voices of African creatives, including Tyla, who they first discovered right before she blew up.
So clearly Tyla had some great marketing behind her. She released a few singles under this label and then dropped the song Water. Like I said, it has nearly 800 million streams on Spotify, went 2 times platinum, and even won a Grammy for Best African Music Performance. She had 5 songs on her Spotify, and the 6th one won a Grammy. The song went super viral on TikTok and she was going crazy. I mean, I can't even walk into a store without hearing this song. She also became the first and youngest ever South African soloist in 55 years to enter the US Billboard Hot 100 with that song. Her label's marketing was clearly very good, and it clearly paid off. Also, I can't forget that she went super viral for friend-zoning Kai Cenat.
Tyla, would you like to go on a date with me?
Are you asking for real?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I'm serious. Whenever you get some free time, would you like to go on a date with me?
We'll be friends though.
You're right.
Yeah, I'll be friends.
You're right. Next one.
The little...
Go ahead. We're having next one.
And by the way, I would not be at all surprised if her label hit up Kai to get her on his stream, because I'm fairly certain that they use these streams as a marketing tool. I mean, I can't confirm it, like there's no documents out there and no verbal confirmation.
Come on, Maddie.
But I really, really want to make a video on this topic, so if that sounds interesting. Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure I could find a contract out there somewhere.
He's even said it in so many
the rest
words.
is history. Tyler released her self-titled debut project, which charted at 24 on the Billboard 200, and she's been very successful ever since. I will say though, Tyler is the only artist on this list who has a ton of writers assisting her on her tracks, which definitely seems very industry plant-like. But as we'll see throughout this video, there are varying levels in which record labels dish out help to their so-called industry plants. Forbats is a hip-hop adjacent singer who right out of the gate seemed like an industry plant. With only 3 releases, he was able to amass 10 million monthly listeners and co-signs from artists like Timbaland, Ty Dolla $ign, SZA, Brent Faiyaz, Kanye West, and Drake.
Any artists out there that impress you right now that are coming up? Going back.
And we still hardly know anything, to be honest.
I don't even know if he's actually singing this song.
About him pre-2023 was, as he said in a Genius interview, I've been taking music seriously since I was like 14. I was just scared. I used to be on YouTube and I looked up how to blow up. On June 27th of 2023, Forbats released his first song called Act 1 Stickers 99. The song wasn't produced by any big name producers and it didn't really get a ton of attention right away, at least compared to what he has now. Fast forward a few months and he released a music video for Act 1 as well. The music video helped a lot, and by December of 2023 he had 40,000 TikTok followers, 260,000 monthly listeners, and 2 million streams on the song Act 1. Then 2 months later he released his second song, Act 2 Dated 8, accompanied with a music video.
That's the one I went
crazy. A few days later he released his From the Block performance of Act 2, which was a huge moment in his career. If you aren't familiar with the From the Block series from 4 Shooters Only, it's basically a series with a hang-in microphone and some hard-ass rap songs. This made it very surprising for the viewers when they saw some guy in a mask with all his boys behind him singing in a high-pitched voice about some girl.
You know what that gave? Those parody videos where they're like in ski masks and they with hella hood niggas and then they're like singing very cheesy songs or love songs. Like that's what I feel like they purposely did with these visuals.
Who the f is these thugs?
A clip of this performance went super viral on TikTok and had tons of popular streamers and creators reacting to it.
Yeah, that's what really made it seem like plant-like.
Wait, that's the singer of the song?
What the hell? Yo, never judge a book by its cover.
The marketing idea of juxtaposing Forbats' look with the song was an amazing idea that worked out super well, and it aided in the song going viral. However, because the marketing was so clever, people automatically assumed that Forbats had some type of help. Regardless, like I said, the song was going crazy. He had Robin Thicke doing a cover of the song. The song debuted at 77 on the Billboard Hot 100 and later rose to 59. And it even got a remix from Drizzy Drake, which then hit number 7 on the charts. Forbats decided to sign a 1 EP deal to OVO Sound, through which he later released his debut mixtape You Made Me a Star on May 3rd of 2024. It wasn't nearly as viral as his previous song Dated 8, but it did debut at 30 on the charts. And what's even crazier is that the song On God She Like got a remix from Kanye West. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even hear about this till I was making this video. I don't know how no one talked about it, maybe I'm out of the loop, but they didn't really market this very well. Maybe it's because Kanye's kind of controversial now though, that's probably why now that I think about it. I will say though, after the release of his mixtape, the hype had died down quite a bit. I mean, a few million streams per song is nothing to scoff at for a brand new artist, but it's obvious the initial virality is over.
I think it's so interesting that Drake is losing his bill. It's just wild to see it happen because Drake has always been the biggest artist ever, and not ever, biggest rap artist, I'll say that. And anything he touched went you know, quadruple platinum, and it always got more attention than the original. But the original got more streams than the one with Drake. And to be honest, I didn't like the one with Drake on it. When I saw that he was added to it, I'm like, oh, this is about to be fire. But I heard it and I was like, no, he doesn't add anything to this song. I'd rather listen to the original. And I just kept playing the original, which I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way too. But yeah, I just think it's interesting to notice that shift.
However, despite the initial shock of him blowing up being over, his success in just a year was astounding. I mean, a Drake remix, a Kanye remix, signing to OVO, charting 3 songs in, and everything else was insane. So of course people were quick to label him an industry plant. But was this really true? Well, the internet got straight to investigating his past, and they found some stuff out. Like I said earlier, information on Forbats was very limited. His past seemingly had been scrubbed off the internet, which also made people think there was some record label behind this. That often can be a telltale sign of an industry plant. which is when a label or some third party is actively hiding as much information as possible. Anyways, the first piece of information the internet detectives dug up was his management. Specifically his main manager, Amber Baker. Amber Baker, or Ambrogie as she goes by online, is a creative strategist and content producer, according to her LinkedIn. She currently works at RCA Records and said she has experience working with labels like Atlantic, Capitol, Sony, and more. She has also worked with artists like Gunna, Future, The Weeknd, Gucci Mane, Lil Baby, Doja Cat, and many more. We also know, thanks to my boy 1111 on YouTube, that Amber is amazing at creating an image for an artist.
Look, it's an experience.
Exactly.
Controlling the narrative. I'm passionate about that. I went to HBCU, went to Howard.
11 was also able to find her Pinterest, which has a collection of posts titled The 5 Acts of Forbats, which has a ton of images she used for information to help craft his image. But this doesn't piece together exactly how he got these connections. It could have been nepotism, it could have been some industry plant type of deal, or it could have been organic. So in my previous video, I decided to launch my own investigation, and I'm pretty sure I pieced it together. The first thing I found was a SoundCloud account with some music that sounded a lot like Forbats.
She saw me going, and she thinks she loves. You know it's not like that. You think I'll be right back. You say you miss my trust, girl, it's not for us. You know it's not like that. You think I'll be right back.
The account was called Spidey, and I also found a TikTok account with the same name posting the same music. It turns out that only Forbats follows his account, which led many people to think it was him. Which makes sense because they do sound similar. But strangely enough, Spidey was in the comments saying he wasn't Forbats. Then I found his old TikTok account, which helped me solve what I believe happened. On this account, he is seen promoting his first song with his Instagram in his bio. He has 238 followers and 8,000 likes, but no videos. Which makes me think he got some buzz on his first song, but later privated all of the videos. If we go to his following, he follows Spidey, Demo Disc, a person who promoted his song, and Elena's Faves. Elena is a creator who posts unrated songs and has over 80,000 followers on TikTok. And in August of 2023, guess whose song she posted? Of course, it was Act 1 by Forbats. This video got over 400,000 views and almost 40k likes. And I'm willing to bet one of the people that heard this was Forbats' manager, Amber. If you think that's a stretch, you should probably consider how many people at record labels, especially A&Rs, are following accounts like these. Forbats himself even said to Billboard, "I needed to shoot a video for stickers, so I was just going about trying to shoot a video, and a lady hit me." Which is Amber. She was like, "Oh, I can help you." And she helped me find a video pretty fast. And she was also like, "Yo, I manage." And this would make sense because all of his social media accounts were created after August. His first music video was released in October, 2 months after he likely got connected with Amber. I also found a TikToker named Kendall who said Forbats management reached out to him in October for promotion.
Before he even blew up, I actually got hit up to promote his first song. I'm talking about this song had 0 plays to start out. Guy who hit me up was Mr. Tastemaker on Instagram. Pretty cool guy in the time frame I've gotten to know him. Here's him congratulating me on some of my, milestone. If you see it, this says October 10th, and then down there it says, "It's for our artist named Forbats." Then here's him sending me the audio.
Kendall said that the song at the time had very few plays. So if
people reach out to me all the time to try to promote their artists, I don't even finish reading it. So they say, "Oh, we got an artist." Click.
Forbats just got connected with a team, it makes sense that a song released in June was finally getting promoted. So this was the theory I came up with a while ago, and it was that...
Also, I don't even react to music on here, so if I did it all of a sudden, y'all would be... And it would be somebody random that y'all never heard of before, y'all would already know it's promotion. And I'm doing it just to get paid. And it wouldn't be genuine. I don't even want to go down that road.
Forbats on TikTok through Elena's Faves. They got hooked up and she became his manager, and the rest was history. And honestly, since then I have not heard a better theory. This is most likely what happened, and we haven't seen any new information that can help us piece it together any better. Also, I briefly want to touch on a theory that Boo Cham, Akon's brother, Kanye's manager, and vice president of Columbia Records, was managing Forbats. Also, I'm pretty sure I said his last name right because of how Akon said it. However, there is no proof that Boo is Forbats' manager other than him following Forbats on Instagram, which isn't too crazy as he follows some other underground artists I like, but I did want to mention this because Boo actually comes into play later in this video. So keep that in mind. I got a lot of things you guys got to remember this video, so I hope you're doing alright. Feel free to take notes if that helps you. Since my previous video, Forbats has done a handful of interviews and revealed a few characteristics about himself that were unknown at the time. Along with that, he has also addressed the industry plant accusations a couple of times.
I ain't gonna hold you, like, I'm a nigga from the hood. But I don't know about no industry. I ain't gonna lie, like I'll be sick. But like one of my I knew it was real because one of my niggas hit me and it was like, yo, hood, like everybody saying you an AI or industry. I'm like, yo, what the get that, hood, like. I'm almost too real, and I think like slowly people gonna like realize that like with everything. So I don't know. You know what the industry plan is?
I was hoping you could tell me. I've been trying to figure it out, but like I can't.
If somebody was calling me something and I didn't know what it was, I would immediately Google it. Like, why everybody saying this? Okay, let me look it up. Now you're trying to come here act like you never looked it up. If people are always calling you this, it never occurred to you one time to try to figure out what it was, or even ask them like, what is that?
Wrap my mind.
He also said to GQ, I think it's kind of cool. It's like I'm the boogeyman. Then people are going to meet me and be like, oh, this is just a regular hood dude. On top of that, his manager said, listen, if you look at everyone who's had success at a very accelerated rate, whether it's Ice Spice or Travis Scott, fans are going to call everybody like that an industry plant at some point until they don't anymore. I look at it as a compliment. It just lets me know that he's so talented. For people
and he did not blow up out of nowhere.
AI, it's crazy. But it also speaks to how they can't even imagine that someone could really be that talented. So it seems like Forbats is pretty open about the accusations and does not really care. Also, side note, I'm pretty sure the people at Complex watched my video because when they interviewed him, they asked about the Spidey page and he clarified that that was his brother. And I swear I was the only person on the internet talking about that. So I'm pretty sure I hope they saw my video. That'd be cool. Depending on your definition of industry plant, Forbats could definitely fit the mold. However, I don't want to make a definite statement on it yet, at least this early in the video. I don't think he had a ton of help until Amber came into the picture, and even then having a manager with connections doesn't necessarily mean that you're a plant. So for now, I'm going to let you guys come to your own conclusions, and then when we get to the end of the video, I'll come up with a better conclusion for you. I'm just kidding. A lot of you guys out there are pretty smart. I know it. Another artist who has received a lot of industry plant accusations is Tizo Touchdown. Tizo Touchdown has been seen on albums from huge artists like Drake's For All the Dog.
I fuck with him too. I really like Tizo Touchdown.
Travis Scott's Utopia, Tyler the Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost, and Lil Yachty's Let's Start Here. Tizo Touchdown seemingly came out of nowhere and he was already everywhere. And he's a very attention-grabbing guy. He's got the hair with the nails woven throughout. He had a meme that originated from one of his music videos. And he also posts these weird post-it note things on all of his socials. And at the time he started getting all this buzz, he only had like 14 songs out. Because of all this, like I said, Tizo Touchdown has been hit with a lot of industry plant accusations. One person on Reddit said, is Tizo Touchdown an industry plant? I've recently been introduced to Tizo and his music through Travis's new album. He's been able to grow at an almost unnatural rate these past couple of months. Seems a little fishy. So, let's look into it. First, I do want to say I'm a big Tizo fan, and I have been for a while, way before he even appeared on Tyler's album. So this isn't a flex, it's just me saying that I have seen him do his underground thing for quite a while. And for that very reason, I don't think he's a plant. But you guys know me.
I'm saying same. I don't think he's a plant, but I just found out about him from reacting to a video about it where he was being accused of being a plant. So it made me want to look him up. And when I heard his album, I was like, this shit fire. At first I was like, this shit weird and this nigga can't sing. What am I listening to? But the more I listened to it, I was like, wow, this is dope. But I wasn't a fan a long time at all. I just found out about him, I want to say last year. Was the year before that, and I think it was last year.
So I will do that throughout the entirety of this section. Tizo Touchdown is fairly mysterious, and not much is known about him. But what we do know allows us to understand him. He was born in Beaumont, Texas in '92, and his dad was a DJ. He mentioned his dad a lot, as his dad was crucial in influencing Tizo to become a musician. He said his dad would take him to DJ shows when he was a kid, and they'd stay out super late, while Tizo watched and learned how to DJ at a young age. He began making and releasing music around 2010, first briefly under the name AT, and then he switched it to Tizo Suave. The music he made at the time wasn't terrible, but it was what you would expect from a kid in high school in 2011 making music. He had also been using his skills he learned from his dad to produce songs for himself and for others. Most of Tizo's old music is tough to find, and there were a handful of songs on Spinrilla, but since Spinrilla has been shut down, you gotta find reposts on SoundCloud or YouTube. Tizo has also been shooting music videos and claims to have invented the $100 Beaumont music video special, since everyone else was charging way more.
But anywho, man, he was doing music and he needed a way to invest in his music, so he said, okay, you guys are charging $500 for a video? All right.
Slash the price.
Slash the price, man. He invented the $100 video, man.
He was producing,
He's so
shooting
bizarre.
music videos, and writing his own songs. He actually got pretty well known locally for shooting videos, and would even shoot videos for artists in other cities. But videography was more of a side hustle for him. Since after graduating high school in 2011, he had been working multiple customer service jobs and retail jobs trying to get his career off the ground. He did his thing for a while, but then his career began to stagnate. And in 2016, he tragically lost his girlfriend to gun violence. He said in his interview with Zane Lowe on Apple Music that after experiencing the numbness from this loss, he stopped caring about what other people thought about him. And that's how Tizo Touchdown was born. He started dressing differently, and he said he didn't care much of what others thought because he was still numb from his loss. Tizo was grinding, shooting videos, experimenting with his music, trying out new styles, and trying to make his dreams a reality. He was putting out a lot of songs and began doing skits in his music as bonus content, something he's very well known for nowadays. Unlike your stereotypical industry plant, Tizo Touchdown has been very open about his past. As Tizo was grinding, he was able to release 2 albums in 2018. And he even did some live shows and opened up for 2 Chainz and Lil Baby. However, Tizo really began to get some buzz in 2019 when he released the song 100 Drums. It was a song about gun violence in his area, and it really resonated with a lot of people. Tizo even got his first interview because of this song. It helped his career out a ton, a bunch of artists reposted it, and then it caught the attention of the A&R Amal Noor. She reached out to him and quickly became his manager. This is when we would notice a huge shift in Tizo's marketing. Tizo had already been dressing differently, kind of trying to emulate that rock star vibe, but it's likely Amal helped him find himself stylistically as Tizo began to develop a very unique image. He started posting tons of extra content on Twitter, and we were introduced to the iconic location of his garage.
I would not want to hug this nigga or dap him up with these
altering the stage
nails
for
that
every
got in
song, creating a great unique vibe. In late 2019, he posted a remix of The Box by Roddy Ricch, which helped him get a little more attention as well. Tizo also began putting nails in his hair, an idea he got after finding nails laying around his dad's house. These things became a staple in Tizo's image. No Office Max pun intended. But it helped him differentiate himself from all the other artists out at the time. His music began getting a lot of attention in the underground, helping him to develop a cult following. So clearly there was a change after Amal got involved, which is probably why a lot of people think he's a plant. Like I mentioned, there were some stylistic changes, although it wasn't a complete makeover, as Tizo is always a bit of a weirdo, as we saw in his 100 Drums music video. But to be fair to the industry plant accusers, Amal did help him out a lot. On her resume, she said she negotiated and closed a $500,000 deal with RCA Records for Tizo Touchdown. She also helped him get a $600,000 publishing deal. On top of that, she said she helped him get featured on most of the albums I mentioned earlier. And she did a bunch of other things to help his career in the creative realm and the professional realm. I also want to point out that she worked with RCA to get Tizo's deal, and Amber, who managed 4Bats, was with RCA too. So clearly RCA has some killer managers and connections. Regardless, this may make it seem like Tizo Touchdown is an industry plant, but that again depends on how you define it. As we've seen in this video, he had been grinding for years, until he finally got noticed by someone who could actually help him boost his career. I'd hope by this point in the video you're starting to notice a pattern, but I'll let you guys get to the end of the video before I break it down for you. Ice Spice is most commonly viewed as an industry plant ever since she blew up in 2022, only a year after she started making music. She's been established for a while now, and I'm sure most of us are familiar with her, but her come up was very fascinating. Ice Spice started making music in 2021 while she was still in college.
I've watched a lot of videos about people saying that she's an industry plant.
During her freshman year of college, she met the producer Riot USA, and they eventually started making music together. She actually went viral first on Twitter and TikTok for a video of her doing a TikTok dance. After that video went viral, she released her first song, Bully Freestyle, in March of 2021, and continued releasing music from there on out. She utilized TikTok to promote her music, and it definitely helped with the type of videos she was posting. She was slowly but surely building a decent following on SoundCloud, Instagram, and all her other socials. Most of her early music was produced by Riot USA. Make sure to keep his name in mind going forward. Anyways, in August of 2022, Ice Spice released the song Munch, which, as we all know, absolutely blew up. It was released on WorldStar, was played on radio stations like Hot 97, and was going majorly viral. Before the song actually even released, Drake tapped in with Ice Spice and told her he was going to play the song on his radio station. The DM then was supposedly leaked, but that obviously raised some suspicion from people who think it was intentionally leaked as some sort of label promo strategy. Drake also mentioned her On The Radar freestyle, which was a freestyle she did with On The Radar Radio, and it is somewhat interesting how she was getting all these connects with media outlets before her major blow up. But I mean, it's also possible they were tapped in early and just liked her music. Anyways, about a month after Munch released, she signed a record deal with 10K Projects. Following her viral song Munch, she released Bikini Bottom, her debut EP with the song In Her Mood. Then later she released the song Boys a Liar Part 2 with Pink Panthers. Ice Spice was on a crazy roll and was pulling in tons of streams on all of her songs. She most recently released her album Y2K and has worked with people like Travis Scott, Gunna, Central C, Jay-Z, Nicki Minaj, and many more throughout her career. But honestly, all of this sounds pretty organic, so how is she even a plant? Well, after I did some digging, I may have found an answer. First of all, the guy I mentioned earlier, Riot USA, the dude who produced all of her original music, has some industry connections. He said his mom used to work in the music industry, and I'm not sure what she did and if she still does, but he also said that his dad is DJ Enough from Hot 97, one of the stations that promoted the song Munch. DJ Enough is known for being Biggie's road DJ and also helped promote artists like 50 Cent, Kanye, and Future in their early careers. So with all the connections Ice Spice had early on, it is possible that she had some help from some people in the industry because of Riot. On top of that, she definitely had some confirmed help beginning in April of 2022 after working with Stefan Dupree, a manager in A&R. He said in an Instagram post, "I knew Ice Spice was going to make an impact when I came across her on TikTok 6 months ago. First day I came across her, I sent her music to my brother Tory Lanez, and he saw what I saw. Shout out to my brother James Roseman for doing a great job with managing her." He also posted a picture of Ice's DMs with Tory Lanez talking about how Stefan put Tory onto Ice Spice. Stefan is responsible for finding other artists too, such as Bryson Tiller and Jake. It's hard to say how well connected all of these guys are, but I think it's safe to assume that in April of 2022, Ice Spice got hooked up with some decent connections and a decent marketing budget for her song Munch, and that is probably how they launched her career. And I'm not going ultra in-depth on this section because Ice Spice has been out for a minute, so most of this is well known, but as someone who's been the face of industry plants lately, I think it was worth mentioning her come up. Ian is definitely the smallest artist on this list, but he's gone viral lately, and as we've seen, the industry plant accusations have been flying at him. After his song Figure It Out started making waves, in large part due to TikTok, he started going up. He was getting posted by every blog, got a Cole Bennett music video, had a 4 Shooters Only performance that went viral, he was seen in the studio with Quavo, and he got a follow from Drake. After this, he dropped his debut project Valedictorian, which had some bangers like Magic Johnson and Never Stop. But with his super sudden rise, can you guess what people said about him? He was an industry plant, so let's break it down. Ian started off as a producer in the underground, and eventually started making music in 2022. He's actually been dropping songs for quite a while before recently blowing up, so calling him a plant doesn't seem likely. But his rapid rise has a lot of people questioning it. If you had followed him for a while, it would be like one day he was slowly growing his fan base, and the next day he exploded. And there's actually a reason for that. If you check his Spotify, his first song in 2024, Wimbledon, was released under Boo Vision. You can notice a slight stylistic change from his previous song, which was independent. Nothing crazy, but it was there. But Boo Vision is a record label owned by Bucham, the guy I mentioned earlier. This label is a subsidiary of Columbia Records, and Bucham is very well connected. He was Kanye's manager for a long time. He also managed Chris Brown, Lady Gaga, T-Pain, and others. And like I said, he's Akon's brother. This guy is super well connected, and he signed Ian to his label after him, or more likely an A&R, discovered Ian. And with all these connections, you can bet that Boo was able to help Ian start marketing himself better, develop his sound better, and connect with people like 4 Shooters Only and artists like Lil Yachty. He had a similar marketing strategy to 4Bats, but reversed. He promotes himself as some normal-ass white dude with his family in his videos. Meanwhile, he's making some aggressive-ass music. I mean, his album is called Valedictorian, and the cover is a parody of this iconic meme. This project also peaked at 54 on the Billboard 200. Now, compared to a lot of others on this list, Ian's career hasn't gone nearly as crazy. I mean, he came out fairly recently, so it's hard to see what it'll do, but I'm really hoping you guys are noticing a pattern here. If you haven't, I'd turn the video off and pick up a book. Anyways, though, the same thing is happening with every single one of these artists that I've covered in this video. I think it was 6. Pretty sure. They're releasing music, getting some buzz on their own, getting noticed by an A&R or somebody in the industry, then they get hooked up with some management, get connected, and start going up because they actually have some marketing dollars behind them. This is just how the music industry works. The reason I'm making this video is to show that the majority of the artists that you hear or see all the time got in the industry in similar ways. Even the biggest artists out right now have probably had similar experiences. I think the term industry plant seems to have lost its meaning. It no longer means some random person who isn't that talented that was scooped up by a record label, signed, given a makeover, and then shoved down everyone's throats and blew up right away.
I think people also question it because they are used to, I'll say used to, but they think that how it typically works is that artists have a lot of buzz on their own organically, and then that's when everybody notices them and wants to work with them, and they get these managers and record labels on their team, that they feel like they blow up on their own organically first, but that's not always the case. So I agree with what he's saying, that is typically how the music industry works, but some of these people don't really have that much buzz at all to have these big artists like gravitate towards them, like Ice Spice, for example. Before much was even released, like Drake hitting her up and shit. It's just like, wait, what? You don't even know how the public is going to respond to her music or her, so why are you already trying to get on board? Unless he was trying to smash, I don't know. Drake is a weirdo, so who knows what his intentions were. But yeah, it just seems suspicious with some of these artists, because it's like the buzz you had, was it even worthy of this manager finding you and trying to reach out with you and trying to work with you? Like, and I get that they're always on the lookout for new talent before they blow up. That's also the case sometimes too, but a lot of these people, they ain't that talented to be like, oh, I see something in you, come on, let's make you a star. Like, whatever. That's subjective though, completely.
Say industry plant, like in this video.
Yeah, this is the video I reacted to.
Hey, there was literally a manager saying that his artist Baby Goth was like a potato with no personality, so he gave her one. That is an industry
Exactly. That's true. That's an extreme industry plant, though.
plant. Not someone who gets noticed by an A&R, signed, and then marketed. That's just a musician. Like, honestly, it seems like half the people screaming industry plant all the time don't even know what an A&R is. It stands for artist and repertoire, by the way, and their job is to scout for talent, basically.
Exactly. That's what I just said. That they're looking for new talent, and they don't necessarily have to be super popular for them to be interested in them. I get that, but again, it's like I would think they would be on the lookout for amazing talent, to where it's like, wow, you have something crazy special. We want to work with you and hone in on your talent and you know, catapult you to the next level. But like I said, that's very subjective, because maybe they do feel that way. Maybe they felt that way about Ice Spice and and Four Bats and whoever else.
The way that people are throwing around the term industry plant all the time nowadays really can apply to most artists. I've been into underground music for a while now, and I've seen artists go from here to here, you know, blowing up after they get signed, and it's fairly common. Most of the artists...
And also, I think it's more organic, too, when these artists are grinding for years, and then finally, you know, someone notices them, because I just feel like that's more organic and it makes more sense, because for them to even find you, like, you have to be grinding for a while and build up some type of buzz on your own, because how else are they going to find you? They're not just looking at random Instagram accounts with 200 followers. Like that Four Bats account, we claim that was his brother, whatever. But yeah, like, how are they going to find you? They're going to find people who already have a little bit of buzz, and, you know, then they take you to the next level.
In this video didn't do anything too irregular in their come-ups, other than maybe like Tyler and Four Bats because they went insane. But usually this is how it always is. It's especially more common nowadays thanks to apps like TikTok. This tweet basically sums up what I'm trying to say. So all of this yapping is basically for me to just say, I think the term industry plant is thrown around too willy-nilly, and it seems to have lost its meaning. And I want everyone watching to take away from this video a better understanding of how the music industry operates, and to realize how common all of this is.
I agree with that 1000%. Not everybody is an industry plant, but some of these people. It just looks very suspicious. And I feel like they may be an industry plant, you know. But, you know, sure. Some of these people, they did have organic success. Tizo Touchdown, for sure. I think he had organic success. But some of these others, not so sure. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see y'all the next time. Bye!